All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been going through a series of videos on MIT's App Inventor 2 for the Rankin Technical College Summer Adventure Academy series. And we're in the middle of our 8th app, that being a Magic 8-Ball app. And as you can see, our interface looks like this. We've now brought everything in. We've got all our code for our reset button, but we did not do the submit button yet, so we're going to do that now. When I originally wrote this, I put here, right now, this, call generate response, and it fits in there just fine. The problem is, what happens if I actually do call the generate the response and I haven't put in a question yet? Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to say, I want to put an if statement in there. So let's put a control structure in. And I want this to say if our text box dot get text. So our text box text, and of course that would fit in there, but not really, because what I want to do is I want to check to make sure that it's not empty. So I'll use an equals, and rather than saying this equal to blank, all right, a cleaner way to do that would be to come over to our text. Well, I guess that is the way to do it. So I can't pull that back out of the garbage, but we will do it like that. So if the text box is not empty, so if it's not the empty string, then we want to do everything. So then we want to call generate response. If it is empty, we don't have anything to do. All right, it would make no sense to be doing anything. So the first thing we want to do is generate a response. Then we want to set the image for the Magic 8-Ball. And I should show you something. I have not really gone through this before, but let's go back to our designer. If I go to here, which is called image 1, if I change the name right now from image 1 to image Magic 8-Ball, all right, even though I've already written code. Now if I go back into my blocks editor, all right, anywhere that I've used that, it's going to automatically change that for me. It will be changed. All right, that may not sound like a big thing, but it is. All right, so we want to generate our response. Then we want to come in here and we want to set the image's picture. So that's what images are, a picture. So we want to set the image picture. But what we want is we want the number that we just generated in here, that response number. Remember, that was a response between 1 and 14. All right? So what we want to do is we want to set that equal to that plus PNG. So you may or may not remember this, but if I go to text, there was a join in here somewhere. There it is. So I want to combine in here whatever that image number was, and again, that's what we set right there. So we want to come in here and say get image number, and then we want to, what we want to add to that is PNG. Oops. Don't need the rest of this. So in other words, If the number I generated was 1 in here, then the picture that'll be brought up is 1.png. Okay? Now it's also time to come in here and make this disappear and make this disappear and take our submit button and disable it because it's already been enabled, and take the reset button and now enable it. All right? Not really very much more to do. So, back into blocks. Our label here, we want to set its visibility property to false. We want to take the text box question and we want to set its visibility to false. We want to take our submit button. We want to take our submit button and we want to set its enabled property to false. Finally, we want to take the resets enabled button. In fact, we can just do this, duplicate, and then change the here to reset and change that to true. Now we're done except for one thing. We also want to go and play our sound. Remember, that's that ta-da. So we want to come to our sound and call sound1.play. And I could be wrong, but I'm at least hopeful that we are now done with this app. So let's take a look. Now it's been a while since we've done this, but I don't know if it'll work or not, or if I'm going to have to go back and reset the emulator. Will I ever be rich? Since I'm not getting anything, I'm going to take for granted that I do have to reset the emulator. So let's do, and I will tell you I'm using the Camtasia screen capture software here, and it does not exactly play super nicely with Inventor 2. So reset the connection, reset our emulator. In an ideal world, we will now be finished with this app, and we will go on and talk about our last app. One thing I have to do before I do that is to go back to here and come in and add a comment that explains everything that's happening in that routine. Could I be missing something? Anything's possible. I think I've got it done though, but we'll see. I do know I want to come back and I want to add a little bit more to the comment in my initialize, and I want to add a comment here, and you'll watch me do those also. So let's see. So again, will I ever be rich? Wait for it, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But you notice now the submit button has been grayed out and the reset button has been ungrayed. So when I reset, what happens? I go back. I guess the other thing I could do here is I could remove, I could remove the text that's in there. That would make a little bit of sense to me also. So I've got my label below. Let's duplicate that and let's put that in here. All right, for that label, let's set its text to, not to false, but to the empty string. All right, sounds like it'd be a good idea to me. Let's go back. I want to look at this initialize again. and I want to look at my comment. Literally hold the 14 different, yeah, I know that. Did I put comments in here? I don't remember. Make sure that's okay. That's enabled at startup, which is good. Didn't want to do that. Yeah, that's good too. And we're going to put a comment in here that just says generate the random number. Now. All right. I can now go back and disable. Oops. Collapse that block. Okay. So now I want to add my comments here. So add comment, and what should this say? Well, if there was a question asked, do the following. 1, call generate response to get a value between 1 and 14. 2, set the image to that value in step 1 plus .png. Make the ask question below label visible, and that's not the text I want to remove. No, this is wrong. Oopsie, hello. I don't want this. Okay, I'm going to have to do it like this, I guess. That is wrong. It's the text that's in here. That's what I want to duplicate. And I want that text not to be set to false, but to be set to the empty string. All right, that should be correct. Okay, so do the following. Number 1, call generate response. Should really be one word. So call generate response to get a value between 1 and 14. Number 2, set the image to that value in step 1 plus .png. Step 3, make the ask question below label, which is referred to as label ask question below. So we want to make that label visible. That was step 3. Step 4, we want to make the text box for the question, which is text box question. We want to make that visible and set the text, which was the previous question, to the empty string. Next, we want to disable the submit button. We want to enable the reset button. And finally, we want to play the ta-da sound. Okay? All right, let's run this one more time. We may have to go back and once again probably is a good thing to come back in here one more time and connect, reset our connection, connect again, and reset the emulator. My time is getting up there. I wanted to do like a little summary of this, and I think I'll do that, even though it'll be short, as one last video in this series. It's always interesting. It is now 7:59 a.m. and it's giving me a time of 12:59 p.m. So looks like it's going to come up. At least I hope it will. The difference is now when I ask my question and I click the submit button and then I get the answer, and then when I reset, it should come back and this should be blank again. All right, so notice if I click submit without a question, nothing happens. That's good. That's what we wanted to have happen. And will I ever retire? That's one I haven't asked. Count on it. Now when I go back to reset, notice it's back. Okay? So it appears as though everything is working, everything is good. I would probably want to run this and, put, hello. So I'd have to come back in here and I'd have to put in some kind of a question. Am I happy? All right, and click submit. All right, it is okay. I have to try to make sure that over time, all 14 of my possible responses were being hit. One thing about when you generate a random number, there is no really true random number generator. You can get very, very close, but it's really and truly not like the number pi, where there are no repeating digits. In most random number sequences that are set up in most random number programs, eventually they can repeat. All right, so let's stop right here, and we're going to come back and we're going to take a look at both the designer, and we will come back and we will also come back and take a look at the code. So I'll be back with that in just a minute.